let's understand how to code this. Life has become really simple after AI has come in picture, development time and all that. A lot of saving is happening. Okay. But the basics are required so that you even understand what code ChatGPT is providing it to you. Okay. So this is what it is. Fine, fine, fine. How to do unit testing? How to do unit testing? It's pretty simple. First of all, okay, it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Few concepts are there, you need to understand that. Okay. Now let's say you have written a Java class com dot cpt dot, let's say my class dot java. Here the entire functional code is there. What you need to do is the test class you write, for every functional class you need to write one test class. It will be something like my class test dot java. So this is the first thing. For every functional class you need to write test class. So if this is your functional class, you will write it like this, test class. This is the first thing. Second pointer you need to understand. Functional code will be placed under src main java. Okay. And unit testing code will be placed under src test java. This is the second change. Okay. src main and the other one is src test. So location of the code will be like this. And again, it is Java code itself. Okay. Fine. Now the second thing, third thing, you need to use some unit testing frameworks or libraries. The popular ones, for example, we are going to work with is JUnit, and it is by default provided along with your Spring Boot system itself. Okay. So we will be using some JUnit framework for unit testing. So you automatically understand, right? We have done so many dependencies. So whenever you are using some other framework, you basically get classes, annotations, methods, how to work with that. So then that means there is a full system which you need to understand how this unit testing framework works. And then we will start building it one by one. Okay? Chalo, to pehla to let's start doing it like this. Let's jump to the code. Step number 1, we reach to this place. Okay. In PayPal provider service, we have written payment service IMPL. Okay. So this is a nice, you need to write unit testing for functional code, right? So wherever, this is another tip. Okay. Wherever, okay, business logic is there, for them, you need to write unit testing. Okay. You need to write unit testing. So if you have some POJOs, DTOs, there is no need of unit testing for that. Functional code, but if you have functional code anywhere, there you need to write unit testing. Please be aware of that. Okay. So not required that every Java class you write unit testing. Only for where complex functionality is there, you have to write unit testing for that. Please be aware of this. Okay, fine. So now our situation is this payment service IMPL is having some functionality, like a lot of code is there. You need to now make sure this code runs properly. We coded this last week somewhere. First point, let's understand. We have src main java, src main test. The initial project which you create, as part of that itself, the dependency of testing is already added to you. Okay. Control F, test. Just see. So this was available as part of the default project. Even if you go to start.spring.io, this kind of dependency will be added and it will give you whatever testing related libraries you need. JUnit and everything will come simply because of this dependency, which is already added. Even start.spring.io has this already. Okay, fine. So this is going to give us dependencies. Next, what we are saying is, if this is your functional class inside src main java, then for this functional class, we need to create a test class inside src test java with same package naming, class name mein in the end you will put a test. So some disciplines are there for unit testing. Okay. So we will be writing it like this. Our test class, this is terminology is called as test class. You will take this. Okay. Put the name test, and this class name you will be writing as part of src test Java. Right click, new class, src test Java. Okay. So by this way, class will be written. Okay. Now, you go. What is our basic aim here? We need to write additional code which checks this code. Okay. So aim is basically this. So if you really think from implementation perspective, in this test code, so for example, here, when we are writing this test, we created this test class for testing payment service IMPL. So this class is supposed to test payment service IMPL. That means the implementation approach should be something like this. Okay, in this test class, we need to create an object of this. Get the object. Your approach will be, okay, create object of this. Step number 2, call the method, whichever is the functional method. Check number 3, check if the method is working as expected. Simple. This is how we do any core Java programming also. You call just that method to see how it is behaving. So whatever we said, code which protects another code, that simply means this. You need to create an object of that other class, call that method, and check if that method is working as expected. If it is not working, then you say it's an error. Even if today we have written this kind of code, after 5 years also somebody modified this core method, if it is not working as what you are expecting, that means somebody has broken it. That's what it is. So writing a unit test case simply means you need to create an object of that class, call that method, and expect how that method is supposed to work. If it is working like that, you say, okay, everything is fine, no issue, all good. But if that method is not working as you expect, maybe in future somebody broke it, so automatically your test case will say, hey, test case failed. So these are some terminologies: test case success, test case success, and test case failed. We will look at the code, relate all these terminologies along with it. But what is happening is you will write a test case, and in that test case you will call that method and you will define how is it behaving. Is it working as expected? If it is working as expected, you will say test case is successful. So this is a test case, calling the method and checking if it is working as successful. This is called as a test case. The end result of this test case will be either it is working as expected or not working as expected. If it is working as expected, you say test case is successful. If it is not working as expected, you say test case is failed. Okay, simple hota hai guys. Add method dekhte hain. You have add method taking two int A, int B. And you know that return value is going to be simple A plus B. Return is A plus B. So if you want to write a simple test case for this, what you will do? You will call this method. You will call add method with values, let's say 5 and 2. And you would expect some return here, sum equal to like this. And then as part of checking part, so calling is going to be like this. Simply call the method. And for checking part, you will say, okay, sum, okay, should be equal to 7. That's it. So it's not much great rocket science here. Only terminologies might be new, a concept might be different, but implementation is pretty straightforward. You just need to create another class. In that, you need to write test cases. Test cases basic approach is you need to call the functional method, whatever that could be, as simple as add method, calling the functional method. And then you need to define an expectation. Okay, if you call this functional method, what is supposed to happen? So here we are saying sum should be equal to 7. This is supposed to happen. Now, if the sum is coming as 7 only, because you gave 5 and 2, so it should come 7 only. If it is coming as 7, you will say test case is successful. If it is coming anything else, you will say test case is failed. So these are the basic terminologies. Guys, are we clear with this? Simple, right? एक method call करो and check whether it is